Hey everybody, Spiderian here, and I'm bringing you guys a little bit of a different video today because today I am talking about a Dark Souls theory that I have. And that's not exactly a normal thing. I do have a few Dark Souls videos on my channel, but not many. I typically don't really have Dark Souls as an ongoing series, nor do I really talk about the lore of some potential theories that I have about Dark Souls. But today, I just got into this theory that I thought of, and I just really wanted to share it with you guys, and I wanted to kind of get some feedback on what you guys think of this idea. And if someone else has already had this idea and made a video about it, I have not seen it. I am not trying to copy anybody or plagiarize. I just had this idea myself, and I was genuinely curious about some potential feedback on it. But anyway, the gameplay that you guys are seeing is some Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin edition. So it's not the crappy version of Dark Souls 2. I'm playing as a Pyromancer character that I recently started. It is quite annoying how you can't just start out as a Pyromancer. You have to play through quite a bit of the game actually to actually get the Pyromancy flame, but that's besides the point. Going through the Lost Bastille and on my way to fight the Lost Sinner. And that is what is going on in the gameplay. So, I recently beat Dark Souls 3, and I know I'm a huge Souls fan, but I should have played Dark Souls 3 a long time ago. It's a little pathetic that I haven't played it sooner. Or at least that I haven't beaten it sooner. But when I first got Dark Souls 3, my PC was not able to run the game. I just picked up the game because I knew that I was going to be able to run it one day, just not now. But about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I finally beat it, and I just couldn't help but think, why does the Soul of Cinder... By the way, spoilers. I should have said that first, but I mean, let's face it, who hasn't beaten Dark Souls 3 by now, at least once? Or who hasn't at least seen a video about someone beating it or whatever. So, spoiler warning, I guess, but not really, because I'm sure everyone's already played through the game, or at least seen someone play through the game. So I highly doubt it's a spoiler. But the final boss you fight in Dark Souls 3 is called the Soul of Cinder, and he's essentially an amalgamation of all of the characters of the past Dark Souls worlds that have linked the fire, that have offered themselves up to the first flame. Now, I'm not really going to go into the history of Dark Souls because, well, if you clicked on this video, that means you actually are genuinely interested in Dark Souls, which means you probably already know all the lore of played through the past games to learn at least something about something. So I'm not really going to go in depth about the past lore of the Dark Souls games, but I will discuss the 3 final bosses that you fight in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3. Now in Dark Souls 1, the final boss is Lord Gwyn. He's the Lord of Cinder. He was the first Lord of Cinder. In Dark Souls 2, you fight Nasandra, a creature born from a fragment of the soul of Manus, the Father of the Abyss. And in Dark Souls 3, the final boss is the Soul of Cinder, as I said, and he's a combination of all past characters, both in your playthroughs and just unknown characters that have linked the fire, including Gwyn himself. And as I beat these games and as I fight the final boss, I just can't help but wonder, why does the final boss of each game fight so hard to keep you from reaching the fire? I mean, surely they should think, maybe this person coming this way is here to link the fire and save me from the curse of kind of being perilously burned for life. But they never do. Gwyn fights you, the Soul of Cinder fights you, and Nasandra fight you. And the theory that I kind of gained from this, and I don't have any proof saying that this is indeed how it is, but I mean, hey, theories are just theories, so they're not supposed to exactly have hard evidence to back them up, otherwise it would be fact. But I believe, my little theory is that I think Gwyn and the Soul of Cinder in particular, they don't, and Nasandra too, they don't want you to link the first fire. I have a feeling that they don't want you to link it. They want the fire to die. And this is why I think about that. Gwyn was the first Lord of Cinder. He was the first person to go and sacrifice himself to the first fire because he wanted to keep his Age of Fire going. But part of me wonders is that while he was burning and extended his age, while all that happened, I wonder, did Gwyn realize that he made a mistake? Did Gwyn think to himself, this isn't right. I made a grave mistake. I should have let the fire fade. I should have let the fire fall and burn out. Because that was supposed to be the natural course. The way that the Dark Souls world is set up is that it was supposed to be, there was first the Age of Ancients, the Age of the Dragons essentially, and no life or death, no light or dark. Then the fire came, the first fire, the first flame to be exact, and that was called the Age of Fire. It was Gwyn's age, an age of prosperity and wonderment. But then that age was ending, and it was supposed to be the Dark Age, which was essentially supposed to be the age of mankind, where the gods would leave, and we would essentially just get a normal medieval adventure of trying to conquer kingdoms and not trying to kill gigantic, grotesque creatures and essentially try to kill gods. But Gwyn was afraid of this, so he linked the first fire, and the Age of Fire has been extended. In fact, technically, through all the Souls games, you're still in the Age of Fire because people have been extending it. They don't want it to end, so they keep it going by linking it again and again. Well, part of me wonders if the reason why Gwyn fights you is because he doesn't want you to link the fire. Because it's the canon ending in Dark Souls 1. Yes, you can choose whether you link the fire or walk away, but I do believe it is canon that you link the fire. Because if you don't, then say Solaire comes in and links it. Or say just some other random undead comes in and links it. Because in Dark Souls 2, the Age of Fire is still going. But, who knows. So I believe that, my theory is just that the final bosses of all three games don't want you to link the fire. Nassandra is the most clear example of this, because Nassandra isn't trying to link the fire. Nassandra is trying to have the fire die out. She wants the fire to end. She wants the Age of Dark to come, because she is a dark being herself. She is not essentially evil, you could say. She's just dark. She has Manus in her. She is Manus, to a lesser extent. Her boss fight was definitely not to the difficulty of Manus's was. But that's whatever. I mean, most of the Dark Souls 2 bosses aren't especially challenging, because they're still fun bosses to fight nonetheless. But Nassandra doesn't want you to link the fire, and her motives are quite obvious. She's a being of the dark, and, well, fire equals light, dark equals not light. So, her motives make sense. She doesn't want you to link the fire, and that's obvious. But now for the Soul of Cinder. Why would the Soul of Cinder fight you so hard to protect you, to protect the flame? Because surely, at least I believe it, that it's still canon that you just link the fire. Also, a little side note is something quite interesting to notice about the two ending cutscenes between Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, is that in Dark Souls 1 when you link the fire, it's literally an explosion. It's a huge blast of flame. You ignite on fire, you stand up, and boom. It explodes, and then boom, end credits. But the Age of Fire is extended, and everything is all well again. The undead curse is broken, for the time being. In Dark Souls 3, when you link the fire, because that's the ending I just went with, because first playthrough, I doubt I was going to really get any other good endings. But in Dark Souls 3, when you link the fire, you slightly catch on fire, like your body slightly immolates, and then you just sit, just slowly burning, and it's a small flame. So it's obvious that the first flame is dying. It's obvious that the flame, it's ending. No matter how many times you extend the Age of Fire, no matter how many times you link the flame, it's not gonna, the fire is eventually going to fade. But it was just, I just got this idea that, why do the final bosses fight you so hard to protect the flame? Except in Nassandra's case, because she's fighting to make sure that you don't end the flame. That you don't link it. She wants you to end the flame. She wants it over, but originally in Dark Souls 2, you could only choose to link the fire by sitting on the throne, so... But people got angry at that, so they had to add in another ending. But that was just a theory I just had. The idea that just was kind of swirling in my head. That the final bosses, they don't want you to link the fire. They don't want the Age of Fire to extend because they realize that it's wrong, and that you need to let nature take its course, that you need to let the order of the world flow. You can't prolong something, because everything has to end. No matter how good or bad something is, it does end, no matter what. If not now, but eventually, it ends. And I have a feeling that the big theory is that the first sin was the Witch of Izalith trying to recreate her own flame. Instead of just trying to link the new one, to link the original flame, she tried to create a new one, and that just spawned the demons. But what if the first sin was not that, but what if the first sin was linking the fire?
I'm glad to see you safe.
What if the first sin was extending the age of fire and not letting it end, not letting it take its natural order? Because no matter how much you fuel a fire, it does eventually die. It may take a while, but it does eventually fade, and only embers will remain. To quote the game, I guess. But that's just a theory that I had. It was just something that I thought would be interesting to share with you guys. And let me know what you guys think of this theory down below. Do you think it holds merit? Do you think it makes sense? Do you think that, you know, maybe that is why Gwyn fights you, or maybe that is why the Soul of Cinder fights you. It's obviously why Nassandra. It's obviously that's why Nassandra fights you. She doesn't want you to link the fire. But what if Gwyn and the Soul of Cinder don't want you to link it, so that's why they fight you so hard? Because let me tell you, I had quite a hard time with the Soul of Cinder. He was... Ooh, I stopped enjoying that boss fight real soon, and I just started feeling rage. And not enjoying the beauty that is the boss fight. Because, I mean, it's a character from Dark Souls 1 when you think about it, and that's pretty cool. And the armor set that he wears, it's the Elite Knight set, just all charred and burned. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys should have noticed that. But yeah, the armor set he fights is all charred and burned and kind of decayed. But it is the Elite Knight set nonetheless. Because that was the armor set, you could say, of Dark Souls 1. It was in all the promotional videos and trailers. Because every Souls game has to have an armor set that kind of defines the game. For Dark Souls 1 it was the Elite Knight set. For Dark Souls 2 it was the Faram set. And in Dark Souls 3 I suppose it was... Well, if you were smart and actually wanted a good armor set, you went with a Lothric Knight set like everyone else, because that's just the best armor set in the game, all things considered. But it was the Soul of Cinder set, which is essentially just the Elite Knight set again. But anyway, guys, I'm now getting off track here, but tell me what you guys think of this theory down below. If the reason why the final bosses of all three games fight, particularly the bosses of 1 and 3, fight you because they don't want you to link the fire. Let me know if that's what you guys think. I could be completely wrong. It's just a theory I had. And I mean, given that Miyazaki never really has given a definite answer about pretty much anything in the Dark Souls world, you know, you just have to make your own theories and see if they fit. You do kind of have to create your own story, because if Dark Souls 3 truly is the last Dark Souls game, and I do believe there's a high chance that it is, there is certainly no way that we're getting any answers. Although, a little side note here, something that I would think would be pretty cool is if a Dark Souls 4 was made, but it was set in Drangleic again. Think of it, Dark Souls 1 and 3 are set in Lordran, just different times, but still Lordran nonetheless. And how about in Dark Souls, say Dark Souls 2, and if they ever were to, Dark Souls 4 are set in Drangleic. Because I do believe Drangleic is a different land. I don't think it's Lordran. Just especially given that in Dark Souls 3, Anor Londo is still there. It's decaying, it's not nearly as good looking as it used to be, but it's still there. There are still remnants of the original Dark Souls world, while there is nearly none in Dark Souls 2. So I do believe that Drangleic is a different land. I think it's across the sea from Lordran. But that's a theory video for another day, and I mean, that's just a lore video for some other time. If you want lore, just go check out Vita Vidya. I'm pretty sure I didn't pronounce his channel name correctly, but he's the one-stop man, one-stop shop for all the Dark Souls lore you ever need. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of this theory down in the comments below, if it holds merit, or if it's just the ramblings of a crazy man. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you so much
I hope you enjoyed.
for rescuing
See ya.
me.
Okay, that's it, I guess.